Although Amy Grant cannot claim to have invented contemporary Christian music, she did the most, in the 70s and 80s, to popularize it before successfully crossing over to pop music. Amy Grant has been applauded for the work she's done in the Christian genre, and have also generated some backlash. For example, some complained that she was too worldly or too sexy, while others condemned her work after her divorce. In this video, we are going to take a look at what really happened to Amy Grant. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any other new releases. Looking back, Amy Lee Grant was born on November 25, 1960 in Augusta, Georgia. She is an American singer and musician. She started out making music in the CCM world before crossing over to pop. She's earned the title of the Queen of Christian Pop. Grant is the youngest of 4 sisters. Her family moved to Nashville in 1967. She is a great-granddaughter of philanthropist A.M. Burton and Lily Burton. Amy has said that the Burtons have influenced her musical career, and she was even a part of the Ashwood Church of Christ with them. In 1976, Grant wrote her first song, Mountain Top, performed it in public for the first time at Harpeth Hall School, the all-girls school she attended in Nashville. She recorded a demo tape for her parents with Brown Bannister, the owner of the recording studio. Chris Christian heard the demo and called Word Records. He played it over the phone and they offered her a recording contract 5 weeks before her 16th birthday. During her time at Harpeth Hall, Grant began to perform with her guitar at school devotionals. Amy Grant's first album was released in 1977. The album sold 50,000 copies in its first year of release. That was a very good sales for a Christian album at the time. Grant graduated from high school in the spring of 1978 and began touring around the country that summer. Grant released her second album, My Father's Eyes, in April 1979. My Father's Eyes attracted enough attention to earn Grant her first nomination for the Grammy Award for Best Gospel Performance. Her third album, Never Alone, was released in 1980, and 2 years later she married Gary Chapman. By then, she's been on the incline, following the release of her fourth album, Age to Age. Age to Age climbed to the top of Billboard magazine's inspirational chart in July and stayed there for an incredible 85 weeks. It won her first Grammy Award, and she was rewarded at the GMA Dove Awards too. In 1983, this album was certified gold and 2 years later went platinum in June. Age to Age was the album that changed everything for her and turned Grant into a superstar in the gospel field. With that in mind, her managers, Michael Blanton and Dan Harrell, began to consider whether she could move progressively past gospel in her career. Grant became a queen of Christian pop so fast that she had to keep widening her fan base in order to keep things interesting. Her goal was to become the first Christian singer-songwriter who also managed to be a successful contemporary pop singer. Many fans were surprised with the unguarded 1985 by the song's very mainstream sound and Grant's leopard print clothing in 4 poses for the album. Find a Way, from Unguarded, became one of the few non-Christmas Christian songs to hit the Billboard Top 40 list, also reaching number 7 on the adult contemporary chart. Lead Me On, 1988, contained many songs about Christianity and love relationships, but some people interpreted it as not enough of a Christian record. CCM magazine selected Lead Me On as the greatest contemporary Christian album of all time, years after it was released. The mainstream single Saved by Love did fairly well and stayed on radio stations that featured adult contemporary songs. When Heart in Motion was released in 1991, many fans were surprised that the album was so clearly one of contemporary pop music.
You know, I've spent over a decade writing songs in the contemporary Christian music marketplace, and you tend to go back to the same well over and over again and think, how can I be creative? How can I say this in a new way? And this is the first real pop attempt that I've done, and it was like turning on a faucet for the first time. The songs just...
Grant wanted her sound to be more universal, but this actually put her at odds with the traditional definition of Christian ministry at the time. Grant wrote Baby Baby for her daughter Millie, and the track quickly became a pop hit, as it topped the Billboard Hot 100.
For 2 weeks, Baby Baby was the #1 song in the country.
This cemented Grant's newfound status as an artist who has cornered the mainstream market. Baby Baby was nominated for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance and Song of the Year, but unfortunately did not win any of them. Heart in Motion by Grant has sold over 5 million albums according to the RIAA, and was her best-selling album. She released more albums with catchy pop songs and spiritual lyrics too, but in 2002, Grant returned to her musical roots and released an album of hymns titled Legacy. It appears that the album didn't have the same kind of success as her previous pop or gospel efforts. Grant followed it up with Simple Things in 2003. The same year she was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame by the GMA, and she released a sequel titled Rock of Ages, Hymns and Faith in 2005. And this was followed by TV shows and many more albums including How Mercy Looks from Here 2013, and Be Still and Know 2015.
When you've been in the music business a long time, at the very beginning, if good things happen, you feel giddy frequently. But then after a while, you learn that life is a process. It's ups and downs, it's good days and bad days. I mean, it's that way in any job, but especially in music. I just don't think I've been this taken by surprise in a long time.
Amy Grant is a noted Christian singer. However, she has drawn criticism multiple times for her image being too inappropriate in other people's opinion. Her 1985 Grammy Awards performance reportedly caused offense when she wore a leopard print jacket and no shoes. The widespread of Amy Grant's controversy reached new heights when the news of her divorce became official in 1999. She was married to Christian musician Gary Chapman for more than 16 years when she filed for divorce. A year later, she married singer Vince Gill. Amy has confirmed in recent years that her previous marriage ended not because of Vince, but due to other marital problems. But this was not obvious to some Christians at all. After so many controversies, many Christian radio stations and retail stores stopped playing and selling her music. While she also mentioned that high-profile invitations also dried up. I once heard that she said in an interview that she felt cool when she noticed marijuana smoke at one of her concerts. People were angry about it. And one more thing that upset some Christians is her approval of the LGBTQ+ community. Although she has a large gay following on Facebook and elsewhere, the singer Amy Grant has been somewhat guarded in her support for gay people. Grant shared her most pro-LGBTQ+ sentiment to date with Hunter Kelly, host of Apple Music's Proud Radio. There is no doubt that Grant supports the community.
I wish I could say, because we're on stage, we live life incredibly because we are affecting millions of little girls, but the truth is, we're all struggling through life too.
Grant's breakthrough success came with CCM by creating a pop rock sound which matched the production values of pop rock, which appealed to Christian fans. Grant also matched the staging of her shows to rock concerts, typical of secular performances, as opposed to religious ones. And her music videos, which emphasized her photogenic appearance, were on par with those of pop stars. When it occurred, her slight cross to pop was more a change of emphasis than a major change of direction. She was a controversial figure in the Christian music community of the 80s for various reasons. In a way, she became seen as a traitor to her religious cult. Nevertheless, she was also one of the most popular singers and contributed greatly to Christian folk music culture. Though her shift was initially a disappointment for fans, she managed to reconcile with traditional followers and balance out pop and Christian work in her career. As time went on and she focused less on making music as a full-time career, album sales took a hit and fell from high points. Grant has always remained a Christian music artist at heart. Although she has had crossover success, her first album was released in 1977, and her most recent one came out in 2016. With over 30 million albums sold worldwide, more than 6 Grammy Awards, 22 Dove Awards and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, it's no surprise that Grant is considered one of the most successful pop singers in music history. So, let us know, what do you think about Amy Grant?